Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to cover one of my runs at a local tournament in the official championship series. So it is typically a Swiss rounds, and if there's enough people, there'll be a single elimination top cut. Unfortunately, this was on the smaller end of tournaments, but we do have 3 rounds of Swiss. I decided to run a team that has Giratina Origin because I really enjoyed it in Fantasy Cup, and I felt like I understood its potential a lot more than previously when I ran it in a local tournament. So I gave it a shot. I benched a Bastion, and let's see how it goes. Before we get into the battles, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you'd like private one-on-one coaching, scrims against me, some of my league guides and strategies ahead of time, or even tune into my live stream battles, feel free to sign up through the Patreon link down below. So, my locals typically are going to build very strong into Bastion. So Bastion, generally speaking, doesn't have too much play in my local tournaments, even though it tends to look good into a lot of top tier players' teams, especially those going to Worlds. I've seen screenshots of those. This player, Mikey, I think probably on the slightly newer end. They actually had Hyper Beam loaded on the Wigglytuff, but just couldn't get it off in time. Overall, I felt like this line was very strong, mainly because his Swampert also has Muddy Water and Hydro Cannon, so even Lantern's a little bit better into it. As long as I avoid the Greedent, which did have Trailblaze, I was going to be in a pretty good spot. So that's why I brought the Vigoroth and the Skarmory. But overall, the team I constructed does have the 6 Pokemon, as you can see in the bottom. It is a Water Gun, Water Gun Lantern, I should say. Icy Wind, Disarming Voice, Wigglytuff. Disarming Voice, I think, is just a little bit better still than Swift, even though Swift is a little bit cheaper for energy purposes. It just kind of does the damage you need. Of course, I'm not running the Future Sight Cresselia. I'm running Grass Knot and Moonblast. And overall, I thought that coverage was, for the most part, pretty good. Fire types are a slight concern, particularly Skeldurge. But I luckily didn't really face any. And I think I have a decent amount of play. One of the harder matchups is probably Registeel. And we'll kind of see how that goes as we get later on to this. So we're going to win that first battle. Going to the second one, again, I'm sticking with the same strategy here. They also ran Feint Attack Umbreon, which I believe is a 1-turn move. I actually wasn't super sure myself. But I think the play here is just bank some energy and then swap over to Vigoroth. My backline has a lot of play here. And we get the Lone Marowak out yet again, which is pretty good for my Skarmory. So betting out that Alolan Marowak is going to be nice here. I believe it was actually Shadow Ball on the Alolan Marowak too. Obviously, it's open team sheets, but I'm just going off of memory because I don't have the sheets in front of me. Like I said, maybe not the most experienced player here, but it's okay. Still a good little warm-up match for sure as we go into our later rounds. But overall, the team I constructed felt pretty good. I think what I probably need to account a little bit more for, because I'm seeing a little bit higher usage in Altaria these days, Dragons in general, and of course the occasional Registeel and Alolan Sandslash can be kind of daunting. I think Bastion is really good into 3 and then is not good into the other 3, so I think Giratina is more or less kind of neutral there. So a little bit weak to Bastion as well, but I think most teams are. That's just how it is. Alright, we're going to catch a move here on the Skarmory, and I think at this point in time, it's pretty much a wrap. I do have to watch out for the potential Hydro Cannon, but Muddy Water is not going to be too threatening here. And we're just going to go for the Seal Wing down. I think Skarmory in this current meta is particularly strong. Even against the occasional Lantern, they at least have Water Gun instead of Spark. But one of the more reliable counters is Charge Bug, and that takes all neutral damage too. So it's going to be usually a pretty solid matchup for the Skarmory. And of course, Gligar is still quite popular, so having that is nice. I think Lantern is actually quite underrated as we get into round number 2 against Andiieee. Andiieee actually, at the previous local last weekend, faced off against three Worlds qualifiers, and I think swept all of it, or got the I think he won all of the matches, or maybe won the tiebreaker for something in the first place. So even though he's not going to Worlds himself, definitely an up and coming battler for sure. And he's running the double electric line, which I've seen a decent amount of even in practice tournaments. So that's where Giratina really thrives, right? It's going to resist all the moves from both the Charge Bug and the Lantern, which typically Charge Bugs is slightly better into the opposing other dragons because you at least have the neutral X-Scissor, but or neutral Discharge, I guess, for Altaria. But against Giratina, it's pretty good. Alright, so we catch the Whiscash in lead. He actually was running the Rise Cication triple dark Umbreon, so Wigglytuff was particularly good there. And actually going to draw the Whiscash here, which is nice, and actually going to just tank the move there. I just want to see what's in the back, but at this point in time, unless it's an Umbreon, I'm in a pretty good spot, and it's going to be that Azumarill. And we've seen this matchup play out in Fantasy Cup, so I knew that I was actually in a pretty solid position. Going for a potential catch there, not able to get it, but that's fine. I'm pretty confident in just surviving this move and getting off a move myself, get the Brave Bird off, which is massive, and then even if not, I still have the shield for the Giratina, and then the Charge Bug just doesn't really have anything to throw at the Giratina. So it would take that victory there. Umbreon does look pretty scary into the Giratina, but Wigglytuff looks pretty scary too into his Umbreon. Alright, and then Charge Bug lead with a Lantern in the back. So this is fantastic for my Giratina, completely core breaking it. I have no idea what's in the back at this moment in time. I'm thinking maybe it could be the Umbreon, because that's the only like real true check, but I have the Wigglytuff in the bag, so I feel pretty confident overall going into this matchup, and I think I'm just going to maintain alignment. Honestly, I also have the Vigoroth and the Wigglytuff, so great checks to the Umbreon all the way throughout, and I have a shield advantage on top of that. So let's see what they do at this point in time. Actually comes back in with Charge Bug. It's a pretty solid strategy because avoids me showing the third Pokemon. So I kind of have to strategize around this a little bit. I have the Vigoroth though for the Charge Bug, and the Rock Slide does quite a bit of damage. I'm going to watch out for a potential catch, and here it comes. And that comes with Wigglytuff. More or less kind of a neutral matchup. I think Azumarill probably wins the Zero Shields, just getting to the moves a little bit faster. But at this point in time, the whole point is I just want to weaken down the Azumarill as much as possible, and then have my Vigoroth just finish it off. So the worst case scenario is if I shield here and I end up getting farmed down from the Charge Bug, and then that ends up being kind of not a good situation. I'm going to go for a Rock Slide, a little bit more damage, less energy efficient, but I just need to finish off the Azumarill. Actually not enough to KO the Azumarill, but Andy does make the correct swap to swap over to avoid any farm down. I'm going to shield here, and we should be able to counter down. So even against Umbreon team, not too bad. I think if I were to make any adjustments to this team, I'd probably swap out Cresselia, because it is one weak to fire, which is a weakness I have, weak to Registeel, and also kind of weak to dark types, and Lickitung, which Giratina shares. Going against Dreflames in this final round, I am met by a Goodra, which does hard wall my Lantern. But without Power Whip, it's not too bad, and he was running the Thunder Punch Aqua Tail variant. And then, of course, he had a Gligar in the back. My whole point was I want to draw any... I don't know, what was I trying to draw out here? I guess Goodra. Yeah, I'll try and draw out the Goodra so that my Giratina is more free. Because Goodra does, for the most part, beat Giratina. Even though resist the charge attack, the fast attack pressure of Dragon Breath is pretty scary. Yeah, I'm going to go for the aggressive farm down. I grabbed the shield off the Goodra, which is a lot more than I expected. So I'm feeling okay in a decent spot. And he comes in Registeel, which is a little bit harder for me. He actually left with a decent amount of energy on the Gligar, so that makes life a little bit trickier. No shielding a dig there is pretty rough, so I have to, unfortunately, shield everything here. And again, same situations because my Cresselia is just completely walled off in the back end. And this is where the slightly disappointing part about Giratina comes in. I win Charge Attack priority. I'm thinking this should be enough for KO, right? Nope. Just a sliver remaining. So unfortunately, throwing on Charge Attack priority means I leave with even less energy. Had I known it doesn't KO, I would have not thrown Charge Attack priority. But I think that's definitely one of the downsides of Giratina is that the Ominous Wind is a little underwhelming. It was actually to the point where Dreflames actually asked me, he's like, did you undercharge that? And I was like, no. I went back to my footage and checked. I was like, I don't think so. And I fully did charge that up. Speaking of potential undercharges, I think he might have undercharged that perfectly because now he gets enough energy to take out my Giratina before I get to the move. I don't think one Shadow Ball is enough to KO anyway. So yeah, Registeel, definitely a little bit tough for my team. I don't have a lot of true counters for it. Really, I don't have any true counters for it. Lantern loses zeros. Giratina, yeah, I can win, but it's not super comfortable. And Vigoroth has shields and everything. So again, I probably want to swap out the Cresselia, Wigglytuff, or Skarmory for something that one beats Registeel and is also able to beat fire types, and maybe Altaria. So anyway, I have some colds to cover for sure. But I think that there's still play into these teams, even though the composition can be a little rough at times. I don't know how much Registeel is going to be in this current meta, especially leading up to Worlds, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see some. Yeah, Vigoroth, not the best in the sense that I still have the shield, but I'm going to go for the aggressive counter down and see what happens. And he actually brings in the Gligar. So Shadow Gligar comes in. Skarmory, this is exactly the matchup I want because I need to lock this in and get a pretty aggressive farm down. I am a little worried there's an Annihilape in the back. So I kind of want to come out with as much energy as possible. Otherwise, I really have no way of taking out this Annihilape. So yeah, so I'm going to finally throw when I'm at max energy. And this is pretty scary if he does have an Annihilape. He would be pretty weak to Giratina in the lead, but it's always a possibility. All right, this is looking interesting. Ends up being the Goodra. This is not too bad for me because I have a lot more neutral play. I'm going to go for the Brave Bird to grab the Final Shield, just KO him. And then I think I'm just going to go straight Body Slam. More energy efficient. I guess I could probably go for Rock Slide for the next one. But no, I think I'm just going to go straight for the Body Slam. Because the counter damage will add up for sure. And yeah, he's going to concede right there too. So, kind of panned out fairly well. But I am expecting potentially an Annihilape here. And we catch in the lead. So, pretty good for me so far. Issei swaps a Goodra. And I come in Wigglytuff. I haven't shown Wigglytuff at all. But this is one of the times where it's nice to be Wigglytuff. And the thing is, you can't really come into this with Annihilape, so it puts him in an interesting spot. But he does come in with Annihilape, which is kind of wild. I expect him to probably shield this, but he doesn't shield either, so I'm super confused. He's making all sorts of sounds, though, and being like, oh, I'm kind of in a bad spot, and I don't really understand why fully, although at this point I'm feeling pretty good regardless of what he has in back, and it's because he's triple weak to Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff can't beat the whole team, but it came pretty close. And they have the Vigoroth, which is an even harder counter to Lickitung than Wigglytuff is. So, pretty good line read from me in that final match. And that's a 3-0 for me. So, we're going to win that local and, yeah, take some booster packs home. I think I have some on my desk right here, actually. These are some nice ones I got from my local. So, yeah, if you know anything about temporal forces, let me know. Big shout out to my local organizers for hosting this tournament and hope you enjoyed the team. Like I said, I probably make a few adjustments here or there, but overall Giratina Origin felt pretty good. I mean, you know, you get it, like it just beats the electrics really well. It has a lot of play. It beats Registeel, Annihilape for the most part, unless you get baited and they land a Shadow Ball. Like, you have play into so many things. You just really have to worry about Vigoroth and Lickitung for the most part. That's in the meta. The occasional Wigglytuff or Umbreon, but those are on the rare side for sure. I liked it a lot. I probably will bring it to the next local and do some further testing and see how it goes. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video. And I'll catch y'all later. Peace.